Hi there, Sage Kennedy of ViewToMax Productions here with the end of the year video slash goal setting, resolution, whatever you want to call it, video here. And I think it's important because, it's the end of 2015, going into New Year, every day is the start of a new year. It could be, depending on how your calendar goes, but the significance of, changing the date, I usually mess up the date. The first couple weeks of January, I'm still writing 2015 or 15 at the end instead of 16. And sometimes I do that for months at a time, actually. It's really scary. But the transition is, people have New Year's resolutions, you set goals. A lot of people, it's fitness related. They want to finish a certain race, do a certain race, reach a certain level in sport, lose weight, get in shape, shed off those holiday pounds, things like that. So I think it's a good time to kind of reflect back on a 12-month calendar year, 12-month period, your season, 25th season, so to speak. For me, the season's always year round, so, the end of the year thing's kind of like, it's not the end of the year, it's the beginning of a new season always. That's how it was being a three-sport athlete in college. You had indoor track in the winter and outdoor track in the spring, cross country in the fall, trained your butt off all summer. So it's always a cycle for me, but it does mark the end of the calendar year and a change in dates. So I think it's good to look back and reflect and learn on what you can learn from your past, and then to focus on the present, but then project and work towards goals in the future. And the goal setting process is really important, I think, for progression in the sport, satisfaction in the sport, just achieving things. And the first thing with goals, and I learned this when I started running in middle school and high school, we had this little goal book. We actually, the first step is to write down your goals. You write them down on a piece of paper. I had this poster board in my room as in high school, and I put goals like, I want to be district champion. I will be district champion. I will crack 15:30 for 5K. I will qualify for state in track, which I never did in Oregon. It was kind of hard, but things like that, quantifiable goals. So it's not just, I want to be a better runner. I want to, improve. It's, I'm going to actually try to break this time. And so there's kind of, you want to set up your goals. So you write them down, put them on display. Maybe you state them publicly even, or at least to close friends and loved ones, to hold yourself accountable. And you have to make them the appropriate challenge. Obviously, if you haven't cracked 4 hours in a marathon, you probably don't want to say, I'm going to crack 3 hours in a marathon. An hour improvement in the marathon's possible, but it's a little bit of a harder. Maybe you want to go for 3:40 first or something like that, 3:30. And so what I do is I always say people set goals up so that there's like A, B, and C goals. Or we had in high school, it was called like basically a short-term goal that you're about to achieve or that you could easily achieve. And then kind of a moderate, intermediate goals where it might be a little more long-term, and it's gonna take you to work pretty hard and you're gonna be really happy if you achieve that goal. And then like pie in the sky, super goals, career types of goals. Like for me in college, for example, I wanted to be All-American, Division I All-American. I never was, but I reached for that goal and I fell short, but it made me a better runner. And I got my intermediate goal of qualifying for nationals as an individual in cross country, because that kind of set me up for the ultimate goal. But I missed that, of course, by 20 seconds. All-American status is hard to get, but you don't always meet your pie in the sky goals, but it's something you could work towards for years and years and years. Maybe it's qualifying for Boston, maybe it's finishing a 100-mile ultra or something like that. So using my personal year in reflection, my personal year of running, looking back as 2015, I've used that to kind of set my goals for 2016 into the future. And I'll just run through, for example, my year 2015 was a little bit disappointing, but it wasn't horrible. Like, I could have gotten really injured, I could have gotten really sick, or totally fallen off the wagon and not raced at all, but I was able to race. It wasn't exactly what I wanted though. I didn't qualify for Olympic trials yet. I still have time to do that. I really failed in mountain ultra trail running, mainly because I put all my focus, all my stock into big stage races like Comrades, UTMB, and then I was going to do North Face 50-mile champs in December. Of course, that all fell apart. I didn't recover very well after Boston Marathon. Totally blew up at Comrades. I think Max King and I, were going for the win. We weren't trying to go race for 5th or 9th place at Comrades. We were going for the win. I can't speak for Max, but I think he was probably thinking the same thing as me, and we went for the win. We totally blew up. It was a rough experience, but we learned a lot. Didn't recover after Boston. I think that was part of the problem. Then going into UTMB, I put my whole summer training for UTMB. That was a big focus, and of course I fell and hurt myself and took myself out of the race there. So that was a huge disappointment. And then chasing the trials standard all over the place in LA in February. You know, 8th place finish at US Champs, I was pretty happy with that, but I ran my slowest marathon, 2:20:02 at LA. I ran probably my best marathon in my career at Boston, but it was a slow time because of the headwind. And then Cal International is probably the worst marathon I ran this year. But, you know, highlights, all things aside, I did win Speed Goat again. Felt really good there, doing ultras in the mountains, but just didn't do enough ultra trail races to really get on the radar as being like, dang, that was a good season. Whereas in 2013, it's like, oh, you won 5 ultras. Like, that was a good ultra trail year. But this year, kind of had to take a step back and race less. Fell short. So heading into 2016, for example, I know what I need to work on. And part of that is the first goal. This could be my A goal. I wrote my goals down. Is to qualify for the 2016 Olympic Trials in February. And of course I have one shot to do this. It's gonna be at the Houston Marathon in 2.5 weeks. So we'll see if I hit that or not. Only have to run under 2:19 now. It's a minute slower, so it's gonna be hard regardless. So that's my first goal. I'll know in 2.5 weeks if I make that goal or not, because it's always a dream to run an Olympic Trials Marathon. Be my 3rd one. Second goal is to try to be really consistent with training and run more mileage. I ran about 4,200 miles this year, according to Strava. For 2016, I'd like to run 4,500 miles, which averages about 86.5 miles per week for 52 weeks. And that's gonna include rest weeks, obviously. I take like a week off, 5 days off after a marathon or after an ultra, usually pretty low mileage weeks. So it's gonna require a lot of weeks over 100. Next goal is to finish a 100-mile race, and of course I want to qualify for Western States. That'll be the goal. I've committed to Lake Sonoma, Montreal, or Golden Ticket Cup entry. It's gonna be hard. I gotta place top 2 there. It's definitely gonna take a really good performance, but I'd like Western to be my first 100-mile finish. If not, there's other ones I could do. Just gotta finish that iconic distance, and it'll be on the trails too, I should clarify. And then always, it'd be nice to defend my title at the North Face 50 in San Francisco at the end of the year. I love that race. It's a great, well, it's a really generous prize purse, that always helps, but it's a great competitive field, great way to end the year. And that's already looking 11 months in advance now, almost. So that would be, those are, you know, some of the goals. I have other goals, but those are the main ones I wrote down. With the mileage figure, I know if I'm healthy and consistent, I could hit that. And so it kind of ties together. If, am I gonna stay healthy? Am I gonna stay consistent? Because that's usually should be at the top of most runners' lists as well. It's not, your health is a very delicate thing. Running is a very fickle sport. You don't always meet your goals. Sometimes you fall short. You gotta learn and adapt as you go along. So that's kind of my whole rant on the whole goal setting process. I encourage you to write down some goals at different levels and different time intervals. Some might be in the next couple weeks or next couple months. Some might be years down the road that you're targeting for, but always something to work towards, something to give you motivation. When I had them on my poster board in high school up in my room, I had it over my bed, so I'd see it every night when I went to bed. And when I did push-ups and sit-ups at night, I'd look at that, and after every run, things like that. So it's good motivation. And yeah, good progression. So I wish you all the best, all the health, good health in 2016, and a nice enjoyment of the sport. I hope, you know, if you're healthy and you could train, then it could be a very enjoyable activity. But it is a fickle sport, and there are disappointments. It's not gonna always be a walk in the park. I can guarantee you that, but that's what makes it so rewarding. So thank you so much for all your views, all the subscriptions on here. Really do appreciate all your comments. Thanks for all the Patreon supporters, as well as for everyone that shares this kind of video on social media. I wish you all the best. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the flip side in 2016. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more VO2max Productions.